Hey, Paulding County High School English Department. I am going to share with you guys today how I created a Google form as a ticket out the door. I will first show you one that I've shared, and this was shared with me, but I'm going to look at the live form. So for the ticket out the door, it was just as a self-assessment. They are required questions, as you see, star with the required. All of them are required. There isn't any questions that I ask that I don't want the students to complete. First is essential. Provide your first and last name, and then select your class period. You can do this with the drop down. Excuse me. In the following box, explain what was covered today in class. So I've given just a open text for them to be able to respond. And then which of the following shows your level of understanding of today's lesson. This way they can just tell me how they need to do that. So I have no idea what happened in class today. I was paying attention, but we'll need a review tomorrow. I get it, but don't ask me to explain it to anyone. I am a master and can share what I learned with the class tomorrow for extra credit. That way I have all different levels of students, and then if they want to come up with an ingenious way to let me know that of what they were doing. So exiting out of that and looking, you can see how I've laid out my questions. I have 4 different types of ticket out the doors if you want to model after mine, and we will create a new one. So going back to my Google Drive, which is our home base for all things Google. So we're just going to go to the new, and we're going to go to more, and then Google Forms. From Google Forms, the first thing you want to do is you want to create a form title. So maybe you just want to title it Ticket Out the Door. And then this is maybe a student assessment. So this is kind of backwards from what I had before. The first thing you're going to do is looking at a question is you're going to decide what type of question this one is. The different types of questions are text, paragraph text, multiple choice, checkboxes, choose from a list, scale, grid, date, and time. This one was a simple, what is your first name? Because you know there's some classes that you have 4 Jacobs in and they all spell it a different way. This is where for help text you would put example, and I just said John Smith. Very original. And it's not multiple choice. It is a text, and it is something you want to require. You can press done, and that's what it looks like. If you want to edit it, you're going to go over to the right hand side. The little pencil is edit. You can duplicate that. Maybe you have the different type of question, but you'll change something else, or you can delete it. We'll go through and we'll add. The next one I believe that we talked about the class period you had. So what class period are you in? That way you can sort through results. What class period are you in? Sorry, I named the question in a preposition. There obviously doesn't need to be a different help text, so you might put first. First and second is a block, so I'm going to do third. Scroll down so you can see it. I have fifth. And then I have sixth, which is the block, and this is a required question. If you don't really want your students, you want all of it to just be in alphabetical order, which I know sometimes you need in alphabetical order. That's what it'll look like. Then you can say that it's not required. Most of the time you do. Let's say you want to move it. You want to put that up because I really want that to be first. I want them first to come for the class period. Doesn't really matter. Let's go with their name. I did paragraph text. Briefly describe what was covered today in class. And we all have essential questions. Let's call it a big idea. We've done that somewhere, right? This is what it's going to look like. Their longer answer. It may or may not you want that required. I'm going to say yes. And then my final one that I'm going to conclude on this one is the multiple choice. This was, what did I refer to this as? Maybe how, let me look. Okay, so I actually just went back and switched between my other screen to see what the prompts for students to be able to answer. So the question was, which of the following shows the level of understanding of today's lesson? The first question type is, I have no idea what happened in class today. Maybe you want to say they were sleeping. The second one says, I was paying attention, but I will need a review tomorrow. The third one says, I get it, but don't ask me to explain it to anyone. And then finally, I am a master and could share what I learned. What did I say? With the class tomorrow for extra credits. And then if, depending on their level, you might want to just put add other, and then they can put their answer and that will sort through. This is another one that's required. Maybe that's how you group students to see how they believe that they did. And from here, you have your ticket out the door. Those were the different pieces that I chose. The difference, if you want to change your theme over in one of the tabs, you have the ability to go through, and you want to put some cats. You've got cats. You can, of course, customize it if you want by changing the different text or color if you have a different color you want to do. However, I'm okay with that one. And I've created a ticket out the door. Now from this one, if you are interested in sharing with your students how to use it as a QR code, so you can do a link to share. You can embed it on your website. You can shorten the URL. However, if you end up doing or you can add collaborators if you're using it as a PLC. You could also go to QR Monkey is the one that I like. From QR Monkey, you simply input your website here and create QR code. This is your QR code right here. Don't know what that is. Here's your QR code. I also have a snipping tool that I will use, and I will snip that little thing and make copies of that. Or you could also, create and save as a PDF and share with your students. But that way, when they see, this is the ticket out the door we created, this is what they see, and they can respond. They can also do it on paper for those students who do not have a working device nor Wi-Fi in the 200 hall. Thanks, ladies. I hope you learned something, and if you can, take a minute to respond to my evaluation survey at the end. Thanks so much. Email me with questions.